what happened. The keke rider, like two people at the big side in front of the keke.
I will confuse them to come to the market.
Congratulations to the media. You have done incredible work.
It will show you what it does.
The Senate observed that PPP has consistently engaged in underhanding.
When your brother is producing something and you patronizing your brother.
Listen to Planet's 101.1 FM news at 7 a.m., 12 noon, and 6 p.m. with our news in special English at 2:30 p.m. Mondays to Fridays. Planet Radio 101.1 FM, evolving around you.
It's the news at noon. In the news, federal government increases deployment of mini-grids to boost power supply in rural communities. Akwa State Governor Pastor Umar Eno wants local government chairmanship and councilorship aspirants on hasty consultations. People advised to strengthen preventive measures and stop discriminating victims of drug abuse as International Day Against Drug Abuse is marked today. On the foreign scene, Russian strikes kill at least 13 people in rebel-held Syria. In sports, Tobi Amusan battles virals as World Athletics Continental Tour. Details coming up shortly. Good afternoon and welcome to the news on Planet Radio 101.1 FM Uyo. I am Davina Praise Omang. Our first report this afternoon is that President Bola Tinubu will reportedly return to the country on Tuesday, a day before the Salah celebrations, barring any last-minute change. Reports say the president would spend the Salah holiday in Lagos, the nation's commercial hub. Recall that Tinubu had last Friday concluded his official trip to Paris, during which he participated in the summit for a new global financing pact, hosted by French President Emmanuel Macron. The president used the opportunity of the summit to hold high-profile sideline meetings with fellow heads of state and government, global business leaders, and chief executives of leading multilateral and development finance institutions from around the world. He was initially scheduled to be back in Abuja last Saturday, but proceeded to London, United Kingdom, for a short private visit. Away from that, the federal government has increased the deployment of mini-grids to boost power supply in rural communities and help cushion the effect of the recent removal of subsidy on premium motor spirit PMS, popularly called petrol. This was disclosed in a statement issued in Abuja by the Rural Electrification Agency, REA, noting that the mini-grids would provide 24/7 electricity in the communities where they were deployed. The managing director, REA, Ahmed Salihijo, who inspected the 200 kilowatt peak solar hybrid mini-grid in Danchitagi community, Lavon local government area, Niger State, said the facility, just like others, would cut down the volume PMS purchased by beneficiaries of the community. He explained that through the Nigeria Electrification Project Performance-Based Grant Initiative, over 80 similar mini-grids have been deployed across the country, ensuring equitable access to electricity. Salihijo said the mini-grid in Danchitagi community was built to supply uninterrupted electricity to the area, which hosts about 2,670 people who are predominantly farmers. Away from that, the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has urged bakers not to use expired and contaminated raw materials. Director General Mojisola Adeyeye, who spoke during a stakeholders meeting with Association of Master Bakers and Caterers of Nigeria, Lagos State Chapter, admonished bakers to embrace food safety culture. According to a statement by the agency, Adeyeye insisted it would not compromise quality of bread, staple food produced for consumers. The NAFDAC boss, represented by Director of Food Safety and Applied Nutrition (FSAN) Eva Edwards, noted that the agency was sensitive to rising costs of ingredients in production of bread, but it should not be an excuse to undermine safety and quality. Away from that, the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, MAN, has warned against the negative consequences of the proposed increase in tariff by discos. It further warned that its urgent steps were not taken to halt the proposed tariff hike. It would have a negative effect on the country's economy. Reports say that the Distribution Company of Nigeria has planned an increased tariff with effect from July 1st, 2023. However, a statement by the Director General of MAN, Segun Ajayi Kader, says manufacturers spent at least 144.5 billion naira on sourcing alternative energy in 2022, up from 77.22 billion naira in 2021, which translates to about 87% increase in the cost of access to alternative energy sources by manufacturers within a year. According to the statement, in the last 8 years, electricity tariff has been increased by 186%, and affirmed that the fact that the government itself owed 75 billion naira in unpaid electricity bills was indicative of how burdensome the cost of electricity had become. He further stressed that the absence of stable, effective, and fairly priced electricity supply in Nigeria had been a long-standing challenge for manufacturers, adding that the worrisome development had compelled many manufacturing industries to supplement the unreliable electricity supply with alternative energy sources. From the number one citizen of Akwa Ibom State, Pastor Umar Eno, who has warned local government chairmanship and councilorship aspirants for the next local government elections to exercise restraint in their bid to avoid frivolous spending, emphasizing that the whistle for the race is yet to be blown. He has also stated that the state is busy stabilizing with the new administration in place to ensure its smooth takeoff. Governor Eno, who was addressing the local government chairmen during an event in Uyo, noted that he was aware of activities of some chairmanship and councilorship aspirants and stakeholders in some local government areas who have started spending their hard-earned money on consultations for the positions, even when the state electoral umpire is yet to clarify on such issues, and warned such power-seeking persons to put their intentions on hold until an order is given to such political venture. He also pointed out that issues bordering on established zoning arrangements in the local government areas have been brought before him for clarification, and insisted that the laid-down zoning arrangements will be followed to the latter, as no form of pressure will cause him to go against the zoning arrangement. He therefore warned the political jobbers not to expect any form of compensation, insisting that the state or the party will not compensate any individual or group engaging in frivolities in the name of consultations for now. He explained that the state is busy setting up modalities for a smooth takeoff of the new administration for prompt delivery of democratic dividends to the people. Governor Eno, who also harped on the need for maintenance of peace in the area councils, called on the local government chairmen to live up to their vested responsibilities. In the meantime, Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Umar Eno has called on all to close ranks and work for the success of his administration, assuring that he is poised to leave behind sustainable legacies for the next administration to consolidate on and deliver good governance for the general well-being of the state. Governor Eno was addressing the congregation during Episcopal Thanksgiving service commemorating the birthday and retirement of Bishop of Uyo Diocese of the Church of Nigeria, Anglican Communion of the Cathedral All Saints, Bishop Asukwo Ede Antai, and wife, Dame Victoria Antai at Dominic Utuga Venue, Uyo. Governor Eno, who likened his administration to the biblical John the Baptist, said as the forerunner of the next administration, it is incumbent on him to continue in the good foundation of his predecessors that will take the state to its greater heights, and solicited prayers from the Christian fold for his dream to materialize. Reflecting on his journey to the Hilltop Mansion, he acknowledged that there has never been a time in the political history of the state where the church spoke in unison and supported a candidate, such as was done for him, and described as overwhelming his endorsement from the church for the office of the governor. He expressed appreciation to the church, by extension the Christendom, for the support garnered before, during and after the election, acknowledging that the support saw to his emergence as governor of the state and assured on his determination to deliver on his mandate. Speaking further, Governor Eno told the congratulation that he decided to attend the Thanksgiving service with government functionaries as a mark of honor to the retiring Bishop Asukwantai and wife Dame Victoria, who have given their all to the Lord's vineyard and retire hale, hearty, and meritoriously. The state chief executive emphasized that retirement is worth celebrating, considering the hectic demands of office, which often takes its toll on people, and supported his accession with a biblical verse saying, "Better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof." He congratulated Bishop Antaya on the meritorious retirement and advised him to continue to play his fatherly role of offering useful advice for the progress of the state on the backdrop of his membership in the Father of Faith. Away from that, as International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking is celebrated around the globe with the theme, People First, Stop Stigma and Discrimination, Strengthen Prevention, people have been advised to take proper actions against drug abuse, strengthen prevention measures, and stop discrimination of victims of drug abuse. Speaking with Planet News on the effect of drug abuse, the State Commander of National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA Akwa Ibom Command, Obod Basi, called on society to drop stigmatization and discrimination against drug users by promoting attitudes that are respectful and non-judgmental. The state commander, while stating the statistics of drug abuse victims in the state, lamented the high level of people involved, which according to her is disastrous to society and the country at large. Basi noted that the agency has so far burnt down a number of drug farms and is also working towards ensuring that victims of drug abuse are rehabilitated.
Youths are the most vulnerable victims globally, and Akwa Ibom is not an exception when it comes to drug abuse. And now, what are the effects? Generally, it slows physical activity. It affects the brain, constriction of the pupils, flushing of the face and neck, constipation, restlessness, in some cases violence. In other cases, it causes chills, unnecessary colds, excessive sweating, tremor, and even death. When we get victims of drug abuse, we encourage them to come for rehabilitation. And during the course of rehabilitation, they are detoxified of all the illicit drugs they've taken. Then we try to give them skills acquisition. We tell them to get them to have refusal and coping skills on how to gradually stay away from drugs.
Further speaking on the importance of the celebration, Basi described drug abuse as the consumption of drugs in a manner that is inconsistent with doctor's prescription. She listed some common drugs of abuse and the danger that surrounds it, advising that people should desist from the habit of taking drugs the wrong way.
In my inauguration address on May 29, I gave effect to the decision taken by my predecessor.
In a manner inconsistent with medical prescription, that goes against medical prescription. It affects the mood, the physiology, the psychology of the person, and it leads to a lot of anomalies. In Akwa Ibom State, the most common drugs of abuse are cannabis, rofinol, cocaine, heroin. My advice is that have empathy and respect to anybody who has drug abuse situation so that they can speak out and get help. So let's stop the stigma, stop the discrimination, strengthen prevention, say no to drugs, though we are many, but in one voice, condemn the scourge.
Drug Abuse Day is marked annually on June 26th with the aim of strengthening action and cooperation in achieving a world free of drug abuse. You are listening to the news on Planet Radio 101.1 FM Uyo. Let's take a breather and then bring you more stories from our foreign, sports and entertainment scenes. Do stay with us.
I'm just a country boy. Money have I none, but I've got silver in the stars.
Share that bond of love with family, friends, and colleagues on the Planet 101.1 FM Country Music Half Hour.
Mondays through Fridays, 12:30 to 1 p.m.
Intermittently on Saturdays between 8:30 and 10:30 a.m.
And Sundays between 4:30 and 6 p.m.
Treat me right when we first be a man of the sports thing, 'cause he wanted to.
Lighten your mood.
Stave off that fatigue.
Country music at its best.
It's awesome.
And it revolves around you.